The second question was, what are the best segments for e-commerce analysis? I felt that this was it was so easy that it was difficult, because there are so many segments that you can develop for e-commerce analysis. The segments, you are limited by your imagination. I find my best analysts are the ones that ask the best questions. And so I will give a few of where we start. These are our baseline segments, and hopefully can give you an idea of how you can grow beyond them. My first segment I talked about before was building a keyword segment, understanding about how different keywords bring better customers than others. This is especially valuable when I have a business owner who is focused on ranking #1 in Google for a word. And that's all they are concerned about is, I want to be #1 for this word, and that's all. We'll get into the analytics and we'll look at the value of that word and how it performs compared to other words. So in this report here, what we found is overall, the site has a 2.3% conversion rate, and the average conversion is worth about $2 per visit. So every visitor is worth $2 based on the conversion rate and the revenue generated. However, when we started comparing the word that was most important to the business owner and other words that we saw that were generating a lot more business, what we realized is the primary keyword the owner was most concerned about was worth about $4 per visit. But we found other words, what we call the long tail keywords, the 3 words, 4 words, 5 words. One word was worth nearly $20 per visit. And so this is what I will show the business owner that is solely focused on one word, say, which keyword should I focus on? Which keyword do you want me to work on? Because this one is worth $4, this one is worth $20 per visit. Where should we put our efforts? And so just by looking at first a keyword analysis helps us understand which words are more valuable, provide more volume, and have a higher value per visit. The next thing that I recommend looking at is segment your entry pages. Entry pages show what people were looking for and how they found your website. There is the cliche that first impression is everything. And so measure your first impression. Look at the different pages on your website, see where people came from and what they saw. So look at the people that link to your website and look at the page that they link to. And that will tell you why people leave or why people stay. So your entry pages are a vital part of understanding what people are looking for. I always look at acquisition. I want to know what channels are working the most for me and which are more profitable. And typically I will look for a very clean channel analysis, meaning that that is the primary channel that they used and there was no crossover. So they came to me just from search and no other channel, or just from pay-per-click and no other channel. And so I look at that first impression and that conversion from that channel. And I look to see what was the revenue from that channel, what was the average order value from that channel, and then also the per visit value. This helps break it down in terms of an easy to assess number. So for this chart, I can see that for SEO, it's at 127 per visit, whereas pay-per-click is 78 cents per visit. So there is a very big disparity in how much I am spending for the value I am receiving. I can also see that email, by far, is my #1 source of value at 172 per visit. And so I can compare and break it down into a dollar for dollar comparison for each channel. Just starting with these initial reports helps us to formulate questions so that we can look and see which channels provide the most revenue, per visit value, and then ultimately how much profit is being generated by each channel. Many times when we see businesses making mistakes, it's because they want to try something new, and in order to try something new, they have to take money from somewhere. And businesses that aren't tracking by channel and know the profit they are making for channel will ultimately make a wrong decision and take the money from something that is working. And so in order to try something that is new, that may or may not work, typically they will take money from a profitable channel, put it there, and they will end up losing money and maybe also losing on attempting something new. So we look at the channel report and then also develop an ROI equation on each channel so that we can look that for every dollar that we spend, what was the return? So $1 in SEO results in $13 in revenue. $1 in pay-per-click results in $183. $1 in email results in $20 in revenue. So those are the things we always want to maintain a very close tie to revenue. When you tie the channel to revenue, you always understand how well your business is doing, and you will make good decisions the more you understand revenue. And so you always have to keep a clear eye on how you are making money and understand why you make money through those channels. And then you will stand less of a chance of making a mistake. Now, when it comes to setting up more segments, we also look at beyond the conversion, we look at a conversion assist. What were behaviors that people exhibited along with a conversion? Did they watch videos as well as convert? Did they register for email updates? Did they subscribe to the blog? What did they look at reviews? And so we try to tie together different actions along with the conversion so that we can understand more and more about the behavior of the visitor prior to the conversion and also after the conversion. Because many times, even after someone will purchase something on the website, they will stay and interact in order to learn more and maybe even purchase again. And so we want to look at behavior before and after and find those factors that influence behavior towards the conversion or influence behavior away from conversion. We also look at what will help us qualify a better visitor. So for people that have a higher value in the cart, people that have a higher order value, we want to see, is there a behavior that was common to those people? For one site, we found that people that watched videos had a higher order value. And so, of course, the response was to put more videos for each product because those people that watched it ordered more products. And so we put related videos, contextualized the videos, made almost a video search engine about the products because that directly affected order value. So the more data points you add to your segments, the more information you're going to learn. Even in a business-to-business standpoint, when we looked at one company, they had a 37% conversion rate, and this was based on not just filling out a contact form, but it was also looking at all of the actions that they could perform in addition to filling out a conversion form. So it was looking at different content, subscribing, downloading white papers, all these actions that were important to maintaining some engagement in addition to getting the lead. And so we could score the lead as being more valuable based on all of the information and the actions that they performed. Next, I like to segment value. What is the value of these visitors? This is from Kevin Hillstrom, who worked at Land's End. And he's got a great book. It's called Online Marketing or Online Marketing Simulations. And this is a way of taking the customer data that you already own and looking at it a different way. This is segmenting by lifetime value or annual value of customers. And so you take your customer files and you look at all the customers that have bought in the last 12 months. You look at how many new buyers you average in a year. And then you start grading your buyers. Your grade A buyers are ones that have purchased in the last year. Grade B buyers are ones that purchased the year before. Grade C purchased 3 years ago, and they have not purchased since. And what Kevin Hillstrom put together is looking to see how many people leave grade A and go to grade B because they did not purchase in year 2. Or how many people go from grade C to grade B because they did purchase after 2 years. And so you can track this through to see what kind of estimation you can make as far as your marketing, and also look to see how are people engaging in order to repeat their purchase. You can also look at what it takes for people to migrate. Are you maintaining good contact with them? Are you giving them information they need? What are they doing with your emails as you send? And it can help you understand this. But then also look at the business trend. So when you're starting at year 1, you can look at year 2 and see how many people will be migrating to grade A, how many people will be migrating down, add in how many customers you average, and you can get a sense for the next 3 to 5 years how well your business will do. And you can look at this data already that you already have and start simulating what the next 2 or 3 years will look like and start to understand where you need to budget your money. Is it to get new customers or to retain the ones you already have more effectively?
So do we have any questions for this one?
Yes, on the left.
Yes, one.
Okay, so for the segmentation, you take the example of existing businesses. Then we can infer from the information we already have. But we are starting an e-commerce website, and we would like, if possible, to try with the best, most profitable keywords from the beginning. Is it possible, or is it only learning by doing?
For starting brand new and starting up, it's the data you have. And so while it's very small, use that to start to learn behavior. What are people looking for? Where did you get them from? Because that's going to be critical. I know from multiple startups, budgets are very small, so you need to spend wisely. And analytics is what helped me understand what advertising worked the best to bring new buyers. And so that is an area that you just have to watch your analytics as they grow and keep an eye on your advertising efforts to see what is working and what's not working.
Do we have other questions? Don't be shy. Yes, second one. This way.
I have a very simple question. In a close future, how will you do your keyword segmentation with no keyword? So in France now we have 80% of not provided in in Google. So we are not using keyword segmentation anymore. But we are looking for information. So.
Very good question. Very good question. The question is, what are we going to do about keyword analysis now that Google is no longer providing keywords? My first answer to that is I am now using ask.com as my search engine. rather than Google, or I will use Bing or Yahoo or something, because I don't like that move by Google, because that is very valuable information for marketers. Fortunately, we will get keyword data from other search engines, so we can still use that. But also, what I'm going to be looking at very closely are my landing pages, because in Google Webmaster Tools, I will be able to see keywords that send visits to my site. I will also be able to see landing pages, but I won't see that together. However, Bing Webmaster Tools will show me which keywords send visitors to the pages. So I can download that spreadsheet in Bing Webmaster Tools. So there are going to be some small sample-sized data that we can receive. Other than that, I'm going to be looking at the landing page and analyzing that for which words are ranking for those specific pages, and we'll continue our analysis from there. Very good question. It's very important now.
So, do we have a last question before we move on to the third topic? Last question? Yes.
Hi, another very simple question, because you mentioned calculating the channel return on investment on your channels and whatnot. What's the trend nowadays in e-commerce arena? Which attribution model is most used in calculating the return from different channels?
You just asked question number 3.
Sorry.
That's just for you. We made that slide. What is the best attribution model?
Okay. So now let's move on to the third topic, jingle.